Jazz. It's one of the most revolutionary genres in the history of music. It broke rules, it rewrote them. It gave us some of the most iconic recordings ever laid to wax. But which albums truly shaped the genre? Today we're diving into the essential records that didn't just make waves, they changed the entire course of jazz history. Whether you're a seasoned jazz head or just beginning to explore this fantastic world of improvisation and innovation, this list will expand your ears and your mind. Stick around because some of these might surprise you. Let's start with Miles Davis' Kind of Blue. Released in 1959, this modal jazz masterpiece is often cited as the greatest jazz album of all time. And for good reason. Miles brought together a dream team. Coltrane, Cannonball Adderley, Bill Evans, each player at the top of their game. But what really makes Kind of Blue special is its spaciousness. It invites the listener in, encourages you to breathe with the music. It's subtle, introspective, and profoundly influential. From rock legends like Pink Floyd to modern hip-hop artists, Kind of Blue changed the way that people think about music. Next up, John Coltrane, A Love Supreme. If Kind of Blue was about serenity, A Love Supreme was about transcendence. Coltrane recorded this spiritual suite in one session in 1964. It was his prayer, his offering. 4 movements, 1 divine message. It wasn't just an album, it was a turning point in jazz, pushing toward a freer, more personal form of expression. Trane's sheets of sound became a sermon of sorts, and it influenced generations to view jazz not just as music, but as a deeply personal spiritual journey. We can't overlook Herbie Hancock, Headhunters from 1973. This is the moment where jazz met funk on a crowded dance floor. Herbie, having cut his teeth with Miles, went electric and crafted a record that groove lovers and jazz purists alike could get down to. Chameleon is the track that everyone knows, but the whole album is a masterclass in rhythm and experimentation. Hancock didn't abandon jazz roots, he evolved them. And with this album, jazz fusion found a new pulse, bringing a younger, funkier crowd into the fold. Then there's Ornette Coleman, The Shape of Jazz to Come. Ornette kicked down the doors of harmonic convention and walked through with his plastic saxophone blazing. Free jazz didn't begin here, but this was the manifesto. No piano, no chord charts, no rules. It was raw, spontaneous, and full of feeling. Critics were divided. Audiences were baffled, but over time this album became a symbol of jazz as a constantly evolving art form. Whether you love it or hate it, you have to hear it. Another cornerstone is the Dave Brubeck Quartet's Time Out. This album was released in 1959, which is actually the same year as Ornette Coleman's The Shape of Jazz to Come. Seems like a good year for jazz, right? Brubeck, along with drummer Joe Morello and saxophonist Paul Desmond, created a record full of irregular time signatures that somehow felt catchy. Take 5 might be the most recognizable 5/4 track ever recorded. Brubeck proved you could make cerebral jazz that was also massively popular. With its cool West Coast feel, Time Out became a gateway drug for countless listeners. Let's talk about Charles Mingus, The Black Saint and The Sinner Lady. This isn't just an album, it's a full-blown jazz ballet. Mingus composed and arranged the entire piece with psychological complexity and emotional depth. It's orchestral, avant-garde, soulful, chaotic, and utterly unforgettable. Mingus blurred the line between jazz and classical composition, and this album is a prime example of his genius. Also essential is Weather Report's Heavy Weather. If fusion had a golden moment, this was it. Featuring the virtuosic Jaco Pastorius on bass and Joe Zawinul's lush keyboards, this album brought melodic sophistication and pop accessibility together. Birdland became an instant classic, even finding its way into the repertoire of high school jazz bands across the globe. This was high-level musicianship with crossover appeal. We can't forget Ella Fitzgerald sings the Duke Ellington Songbook. This album represents the intersection between two towering figures in jazz, Ella and Ellington. The Songbook series alone elevated the great American songbook into a high art, and Ella's interpretations are definitive. Her phrasing, her pitch, her effortless swing, unmatched. With Duke himself contributing arrangements and piano, this album is a sophisticated dialogue between voice and orchestra. Another essential is Keith Jarrett, the Köln Concert, a solo piano improvisation recorded live in Germany. It became the best-selling solo jazz album of all time. Jarrett wasn't even in great shape that night. He had back pain and the piano was subpar, but what came out was transcendent. Fluid, melodic, deeply emotional. It's become a symbol of what pure improvisation can achieve when technique meets surrender. And of course there's Art Blakey and the Jazz Messengers' Moanin. This album didn't just define hard bop, it announced it. With Benny Golson and Lee Morgan in the lineup, Blakey drove the band with explosive power and soul. The title track alone is one of the most iconic in jazz history. That call and response melody is instantly recognizable. But more than that, Moanin was a proving ground. It was jazz with grit, gospel, blues and bite. A true masterclass in group chemistry and groove. So there you have it, 10 albums that didn't just shape jazz, they are jazz. Think I missed a crucial one? Drop it in the comments. Like and subscribe for more deep dives into the world of jazz. Until next time, stay inspired.